evening. Yes, we're having a special stream in the evening. We just did a watch along for Spider-Man Far From Home. Fabulous movie. Absolutely fabulous. If you didn't get a chance to watch with the rest of us, of course, I highly recommend that you go and watch the film for the billionth time, or maybe for the first time. Some people are watching it for the first time this evening. That was a lot of fun to experience the twists and turns of the film with them. And it has some pretty good extras, too. There's like all that stuff about Peter getting ready to go on the trip that we saw in the trailers. They have that in there. I didn't watch too many of the extras, though. There's nothing like that's a big reveal for a future movie. But I didn't want to watch too many of the extras because I was like, it's like watching the movie. I want to watch the movie first. But I think it's a good purchase. Although some of you might want to wait until you can just rent it or you can buy the physical copy. And the watch along is going to stay up on the channel. So whenever you watch the movie, you can cue me up and I'll watch with you. So and at any time, I'll be ready. I'll be ready and waiting for you. So this is a Q&A. Anyone can watch. This is on the main channel. We do these once a month. And anyone can watch, but only members may comment. I hope you'll consider joining. There's a link in the video description on how to join. I believe it's $5 a month. Part of that goes to YouTube, part of that goes to me. And what you get is you get 4 streams a week, usually Sundays in the morning and then Monday through Wednesday. They last about half an hour to 40 minutes. I cover the latest news stories that are smaller than what you would get in a video on the main channel, but we talk a lot of business. We talk a lot of the smaller stories, developing stories. And then the last 10 minutes of every stream, you can ask me anything that you would like we're going to do here today. And then once a month, we do a watch along. Next month is going to be, I'm very excited about this, we're going to watch The Shining to get ready for Dr. Sleep. It'll either be The Shining this month or maybe in November, because I think The Shining comes out in mid-November. We might watch if there's another superhero. I don't think there are any other superhero movies on the horizon, though, so we might do maybe sometime, maybe for Halloween week. That sounds like a good idea, right? We'll watch The Shining together. And we'll do, usually, what if it's a big movie, I do it the day that the movie hits digital. It just turns out to be that's when the most people are into watching it with a group. But for something like The Shining, I'll do it at a time that more people can join. And I not only factor in East and West Coast, but I usually factor in Europe as well, because I try to be sensitive to that. We usually do it on a weekend, like a Friday or a Sunday, because of that. All right, so we're going to talk Spider-Man Far From Home today. Anything you'd like to discuss about it, the Sony-Disney deal, the MCU in general, the movie. I imagine we'll probably be discussing spoilers, so if you haven't seen Spider-Man Far From Home, just be on edge. Just be ready to mute if you need to. But thank you again for joining me. We'll go till about 9:50. All right, so we have about 15 minutes to chat. So thank you, everybody, for joining me today. All right, so Dennis. By the way, Jonathan, I'm glad you finally made a Q&A. All right, so Dennis says, Mysterio was a great villain, but is he dead? Oh, we're starting with the spoilers. I was talking about it during the stream. Dennis, you were there. Jake Gyllenhaal was recently asked if he would return as Mysterio, and he said he cannot answer that. Because remember, Mysterio could return as himself. Peter never got rid of Beck's ability to work with Edith. And then also, he had given control to the guy from the first Iron Man movie. So there are a lot of ways that they could work around that, especially when dealing with a villain, of course, who does illusions. I have done Moon Knight casting. I just haven't made the video yet. I'm planning to do it this week. Maurizio, I saw your tweet. I don't hate Lover. I just don't feel it's as good as the singles on the album. But that's the only thing. But I certainly do not hate Lover. I think it has a lot of good songs on it. I just feel in this case, Taylor Swift did not save the best for last. Let's just put it that way. Grismeyer says, what's your favorite scene in Spider-Man Far From Home? I already know the answer, but I want to hear you say it. I like the big splashy illusion in the middle of the film with Mysterio when he truly lets loose against Peter Parker. And you have all the marching Mysterios. That's my favorite shot. But that's just such a beautiful scene. And as we discussed during the watch along, and as I said during my spoiler review, that's just right out of the comics. It mimics some of the best and most iconic Mysterio artwork. So I just loved it. Rocker Dude 17 says, how come Mysterio didn't need to transfer Edith to Peter? I think because he I think because Peter never gave up control of Edith, you know, you have to be wearing Edith to control Edith. So I think that I got distracted by some lover comments there about the Taylor Swift album. But I think that Peter never lost control of Edith. He just unfortunately handed it over literally to Mysterio. James says the illusion scene tops anything in Doctor Strange visually. I would say certainly in terms of how much of it there is. But I think that not maybe in the Doctor Strange movie, that's true. But I still love in Infinity War when he has the multiple arms. That's amazing. Let's see here. Danny says, will they be able to reference Spider-Man in future films, MCU films? Well, the benefit is, I think they will not ever have a situation where they're like, oh, too bad Spider-Man left the universe or Spider-Man's dead. Just no one's going to talk about him until this is resolved. That's just all that's going to happen. Spider-Man, luckily, is often off on his own and not part of the group. It's not like, where'd Thor go, right? So I think it's going to be really easy. And as I said, they have a meeting set. I mean, this is far from over. I think that, you know, people, as I told you when I made my video, you're being used as your fandom is being weaponized by one or both of the two studios to try and force the other side to make a deal and do what they want. So you just gotta bear and grin it, and also have faith that, you know, Spider-Verse was such a good movie and that was made without any input from Kevin Feige. So I think that doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna get bad Spider-Man movies. Peter says, how will Sony continue with the character when Iron Man played such a crucial role in his life? Peter, that's a great question. I think he's just going to move on real fast. I think that's what it's going to be. He's going to focus on other things. And I know a lot of Spider-Man fans would welcome that, because a lot of people feel, unfortunately, he's, you know, he's Iron Man Jr. or the Iron Spider. And I can see how that would frustrate some people. So, you know, I don't think it's the end of the world if it doesn't go back together, and I think it'll never be forever. But don't worry about it. And I think that it might not, I mean, they're having a Spider-Man ride that they're building in California Adventure. They want to keep Spider-Man in the MCU. It's going to be ridiculous to have everybody go and buy Spider-Man merchandise at Disneyland theme park, and he's not in their movies. Joseph says, do you think that Marvel and Sony can strike a deal before Spider-Man 3? I certainly do. They're hoping to film in 2020, so they have the whole fall and winter, you know, through up till January to make a deal. So don't worry about it. Jonathan says, can they reference the Iron Man tech in future movies? Probably not, I would imagine. That's why I think they're going to fix this. But I think that, you know, Peter Parker can build his own technology so that they can work around it very easily. Thank you, everybody, by the way, for the gesundheits. I appreciated it. Ariel White says, is it too soon to possibly see Gwen Stacy or Spider-Gwen in the next movie? Well, it sure sucks that Haley Steinfeld's getting that Kate Bishop show. Not for Haley Steinfeld or the character of Kate Bishop, but it certainly sucks for the character of Gwen Stacy, because she voiced her, of course, in the Spider-Verse. So that's unfortunate, and I think that's what's truly going to delay the character coming to the big screen. James says, was this deal the reason Spider-Man 3 wasn't announced? I would imagine so. And Sony, by the way, hasn't gone ahead and announced it themselves. So they're still hoping to make a deal. This is just all posturing. When someone says that door is closed for now, it's obviously not permanent. Hey, Jay, welcome to the BTT membership community. Matt says, do you think the Skrulls will be villains in the future phases? Oh, for sure. There are so many of them. You can definitely have different factions of Skrulls. You'll have good Skrulls and bad Skrulls. And that could be really interesting. I think Marvel's clearly shown at this point they can handle complex storytelling. Oscar says, what would you like to see in the next Spider-Man movie? I would like to see more of the Spider-Man universe. And it's interesting. I'd like to see more of the Spider-Man universe and a little less of the Marvel one, to be honest with you, the MCU. I want to see more J. Jonah Jameson. I want to see the Osborns come back on the scene. I'd like to see the Sinister Six. I'd like to see the return of Vulture. I mean, I think there's really good stuff. Mika says, if Michael Rooker is Captain Cold, will Ezra Miller be in Suicide Squad? Not necessarily. I don't think Ezra Miller will be the Flash. I don't think that. I just don't think it's gonna. I think it's not gonna work out. But Michael Rooker, he's so Captain Cold, right? James Gunn was going around saying even the trades got some of the characters wrong. So we'll see. We'll see who everybody is. Jay, new member. I do watch The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. I think it's a fabulous show, and I'm so excited for season 3, which starts very soon. I think December 6th. Last night, actually, I sat down and I wrote down all the streaming shows for Netflix and Amazon Prime so I didn't miss them. Jonathan says, why are we getting so many Spider-Man movies, but we have to wait years for Black Panther 2? Well, that's because Ryan Coogler, unfortunately, is very busy. But, John Watts is just in the Spider-Man business. So don't worry, though. I'm sure that Black Panther 2 will be worth the wait. Ryan Coogler, very talented individual, and he definitely wants to make sure he delivers. Hey, Max. DeAndre says, what do you think of Avengers versus X-Men? I didn't like that comic. I don't think the Avengers and the X-Men really fit together. I am enjoying Jonathan Hickman's take on the characters with House of X and Powers of X, really trying to make them the villains of Marvel, which I think is kind of interesting, like very self-entitled villains who don't see themselves as villains. I kind of like that, but still, the Avengers are nowhere to be seen in those stories, so it's still not. The X-Men to me are their own thing, so I'm curious to see if even Kevin Feige, I think, will have a difficult time making that work. Hi, Yusuf. Hey, Waffles, welcome back. Mika says, do you want a live-action Oscar Isaac as Spider-Man 2099? He voiced that character in the Spider-Verse. Oh, yeah. I thought all the Spider-Verse voice casting was really smart and that it was those actors could go into live action. Oh, I would love for Jake Johnson to be an alternate universe older Spider-Man. He was great. He's so Spider-Man. He's so Peter Parker. Modern Stitcher says Black Panther 2 would be worth the wait if Storm shows up. Agreed. I also really think Ryan Coogler would get the character right. Dancing Dog 60 says, do you think that Brad Pitt could play Kraven the Hunter? I'm starting to think Brad Pitt could play anything, quite frankly. But I don't think he's a good Kraven the Hunter. Yes, Yusuf, I'm so glad you're finally a member. Yay, welcome. Daniel, I've written out half of the Ad Astra review. It will go up tomorrow. I would promise you, but I promised you it would go up today. But just don't worry. Now that it's written, it will get done faster. Karen says, do you think that Far From Home was the best choice to be the first movie after Endgame? Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was a good choice because it played so much about Tony's sacrifice and it really, with some closure for, I think, Peter Parker in that regard. So I thought it was good. And I thought the way Mysterio tied everything together was very exciting. So I thought it was a good choice. Hey, Sophia. Peter says, rumors are that Hemsworth's Thor will still be the main character in Love and Thunder. That's not a rumor. I think Taika Waititi actually said that. I don't know how I feel about that. I think if they shortchange Natalie Portman's female Thor, Lady Thor, I think that would be a problem. So, I don't know. I think that, let's just see. Taika Waititi seems to be on a bit of a roll, so let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Vanderson Valley says, should I see Ad Astra this week? Yes, everyone should see Ad Astra. It's amazing. Let's see. James says, Endgame and Far From Home are the peak of MCU. Agree? Yes, I do agree, because I think the MCU is finally taking risks, which was the one thing that we felt was holding them back. But they're doing it now. You're doing it! So I think that it's great, and I hope this continues. Cole says, I have absolutely no interest in Black Widow since it's in the past. Start phase 5. Well, you mean phase 4, I guess, right? I'm interested in Black Widow. I mean, Kevin Feige's very smart. He's going to give you a reason to watch that movie. I would watch Ad Astra on a premium screen, be it IMAX or Dolby. see here. Jonathan, I did see the Jurassic World short. I liked it, but then I didn't like it. I love Andre Holland. I think he's so talented, and I liked the little girl in it. But I felt that it was not ultimately Jurassic Park, and it was missing some of the crucial elements that I think have made that franchise successful. Elliot, I too love Donnie Yen, but I would not do Namor. I think Namor is a big mistake. It's too similar to Aquaman, and the MCU does not need to go there. Kevin Feige has so many other things that he should be doing. I think it would be ridiculous to do Namor. Maybe in Black Panther too, because of the hint they dropped at Endgame, and I guess it's the royalty of Wakanda versus the royalty of the ocean, Atlantis. Maybe I could see that making sense, but Aquaman also was so well done VFX-wise. Why take that on? Let's see here. Darvin says, I was at D23 and got to see a trailer for Black Widow, and the action was a little disappointing. However, we didn't get to see anything with Taskmaster. I think they're probably very early. I mean, boy, Scarlett Johansson, she's been complaining about not having a movie for so long. If she doesn't bring it, she'll never hear the end of it. So hopefully she does, and I hope the Taskmaster is exciting. Augie says, Far From Home or Homecoming? I'm going to go from Far From Home, because I thought Far From Home was just it really swung for the fences and succeeded, and I have tremendous respect for that. Chris Clark says, would you like to see Holland meet Hardy's Venom? I would! Very much so. I would very much like to see that. Matt says, what great female character would they add to the next Spider-Man? You know, I'm enjoying the new Black Cat comic, as we talked about on the stream today. I like the Black Cat comic. I think it's pretty good. I mean, she's an obvious ripoff of Catwoman, but I like her bad luck powers. And I think, you know, I don't want to just see more of the same, because they've made so many Spider-Man movies already. I like bringing in fresh and new stuff, like Vulture or Mysterio. So that's the only downside of the Osborns. We've already done them twice. So I think Black Cat could be a lot of fun. Mika says, do you think Warner Brothers has forgiven Henry Cavill for his demands? It looks like they have not, because they're not making any movies with him. Jose says, just popping in. Hello. What do you think of Robert Downey Jr. making an appearance in the Black Widow movie? I made a whole video about it, Jose. I hope you'll check it out. I posted it on Monday, so yesterday. Karen says, is anything about the future of the MCU making you nervous? No. I think the MCU is in really good shape. I think that they're trying to do a lot of, they're trying to really diversify their lineup, which I think is very commendable, and I'm very excited about that. But you know, if you do too much at once, it's a little bit too shocking to people. You have to ease people into it, particularly mainstream, especially if you're going to make a lot of changes. So, but I have to tell you, at this point, I feel like Marvel can do no wrong. I mean, they have such support from their core fan base, such aggressive support, that it's like, and they're just winning it so often. And also, you know, as some of you are pointing out, they have these amazing shows coming up like WandaVision, which is going to take huge risks. I just think Marvel is really in a great spot right now. Dennis says, have they given up linking all the DCEU movies MCU style? I don't think they've given it up, but it's not important to them. But as I've said many times, I think that's a huge mistake. I think it's crucial to link these movies to make sure people go and see all of them. Otherwise, they can say, I don't want to see Shazam, as many people unfortunately did. Oh, Avengers V, I'm very excited for Deadpool to come into the MCU. It's going to probably take a while because it's going to be tricky to navigate, but Ryan Reynolds is very clever and very business savvy and willing to play ball. So it's going to work. All right, I'll do 2 more questions, and then I must go. Augie says, do you think we'll ever see New Mutants? Streaming service would be my best bet. Like on Hulu. They're like, don't even get that near our Disney Plus. We must protect our Disney Plus. Juan says, if you had to bet that one Phase 4 movie was a flop, what would you choose? Eternals, maybe? People are really interested in it, though. I gotta say, I'm surprised at how interested people are in Eternals. But it might end up not being that much fun. That's my only concern. Black Widow, I think maybe won't get to $1 billion, which concerns me. I'm a little nervous about that. But I think that Thor, Love and Thunder and Doctor Strange and the Madness of the Multiverse are going to be such huge hits that it's going to blow everybody's minds. All right, one more question. Silver Robin, I've seen Titans episode 3. I love that show. I'm burning through it. They give it to me early on the press site, and I just love that show. I should tweet about it more often, but I'm tweeting about other stuff. I got to pace out my tweets. Let's see here. Chris Clark says, shame we will never see Tom Holland hang out with Ryan's Deadpool. On Reynolds' Deadpool. Well, considering the fact that Deadpool has a crush on Spider-Man, maybe that's for the best. All right, everybody, thank you so much. And also because, of course, Spider-Man's underage. And I don't think that would stop Deadpool, to be honest with you. All right, well, it would in a Disney MCU. All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining me this evening. It was so fun talking to you. Thank you for everybody who joined as a member just today. Thank you for everyone who's been a long-term member. And I'll see you tomorrow. The stream is going to be like at 1 o'clock. Tomorrow's stream will be at 1 o'clock because I have to go and see Rambo. The press screenings at 4 p.m., which is when I usually have the streams. All right, see some of you tomorrow. And, of course, the Ad Astra review and Downton Abbey should go up tomorrow as well. All right, have a lovely evening, everybody. Bye. Thank you for joining.